What if the very thing that makes you extraordinary is also the thing that could destroy you? What if your deepest gift, the ability to see what others cannot, is also the root of your loneliness, your exhaustion, your constant sense that you don't quite belong? Carl Jung once whispered of a discovery so dangerous that most of the world has ignored it. He found that a rare kind of person walks among us, someone who perceives beneath the masks, who hears the unspoken words, who carries the unacknowledged burdens of others. This person does not just live in the world, they see through it. But Jung warned, this gift, if left unintegrated, turns toxic. It isolates, it burns, it dissolves the very self that carries it. And yet, if it is embraced, disciplined, and refined, it becomes the doorway to wisdom, to healing, and to a life of deeper meaning. Stay with me until the end, and I will not only show you what Jung discovered, but I'll also give you 10 practical ways to protect yourself, to ground yourself, and to finally transform this dangerous gift into a source of peace and power. So, are you ready to step into the mirror Jung left behind? If you're ready to go deeper, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel is dedicated to those who seek truth, who dare to look within. The storm inside the human mind is like the sea. On the surface, waves crash. Thoughts, worries, plans, and endless noise. Beneath the surface, however, there are currents, unconscious desires, suppressed fears, the forgotten parts of who we are. Most people never dive beneath those waves. They remain at the surface, paddling endlessly, believing the storm is all there is. But Jung discovered some rare souls who are different. These individuals do not merely see the waves, they feel the currents underneath. They can sense the invisible moods in a room. They know when words hide secrets. They perceive connections others cannot even name. To them, the mind is not just a storm, it is a weather system, stretching across people, families, even entire cultures. They feel what others repress, and they know what others deny. At first, this seems like a gift, an almost supernatural power. But Jung's warning was clear. What feels like vision can quickly become a curse. Because to carry what others refuse to see is to risk drowning in their unconscious. And so we ask, is it a blessing to see the truth? Or is it safer to live in illusion? In the next chapter, you'll see why Jung called this discovery dangerous, not because of what is seen, but because of what it does to those who see it. The dangerous gift. Jung's most dangerous discovery was not about pathology, not about madness. It was about perception itself. He noticed that certain people, especially those he later described as introverted intuitives, did not just think differently, they perceived differently. Their consciousness was like a finely tuned instrument vibrating with the unspoken energy of others. Imagine being able to sense the tension between two people before they exchange a word. Imagine knowing when a friend's smile is hiding despair. Imagine feeling the unacknowledged anger of a colleague sitting across from you in silence. At first, this seems magical, but Jung saw the pattern. These people became isolated. Others found their presence unsettling. Friendships fell apart. Groups rejected them. Why? Because when you see through masks, you disrupt the unconscious agreements that keep social life running. Jung wrote, the danger lies not in the perception itself, but in the psychic isolation it creates. To see too much is to be alienated. To know too much is to be rejected. And to feel too much is to risk being consumed by what isn't even yours. But why did Jung call this discovery the most dangerous of all? The answer lies in what happens when perception is left unintegrated. When vision becomes a burden, to see what others cannot is not only lonely, it is exhausting. Those with differentiated perception often absorb the moods of others. Anxiety that isn't yours suddenly feels like it belongs to you. Anger that belongs to your family, your partner, your coworker. You end up carrying it in your body. You become a sponge for unconscious pain, and sponges drown when they absorb too much. This is why Jung warned. Without boundaries, the perceiver begins to dissolve. Their identity weakens. They no longer know what is mine and what belongs to them. The result is burnout, emotional collapse, even physical illness. Modern psychology confirms this. Empaths and highly sensitive individuals often report chronic fatigue, anxiety, and somatic symptoms. The dangerous discovery is this: perception without integration destroys. But here lies the paradox. The very same gift, if integrated, becomes a source of healing not just for you, but for the world. The path forward is not to suppress your sight, but to learn how to carry it. So who are the ones Jung saw carrying this gift? And how can you recognize if you are one of them? Let's go deeper. The rare ones, Jung described four types of intuitives, each carrying this dangerous gift in different forms. The feeling intuitive, who absorbs the emotions of others, sometimes even physically embodying their pain. The thinking intuitive, who sees the patterns of thought, the hidden assumptions, the inevitable outcomes. The sensation intuitive, who notices the physical signs of psychological truth, the twitch in the eye, the heaviness of the body, the illness that reveals what the soul cannot say. The pure intuitive, who perceives everything but struggles to translate it into words. These types are rare. Jung estimated that only a small fraction of the population lives with this level of perception. But here is the uncomfortable truth. If you are watching this video, there is a high chance you are one of them. You feel too much. You notice too much, and you cannot simply turn it off. Jung's question was not, do such people exist? He saw them in his patients every day. His question was, how will they survive? But before survival comes recognition. So how do you know if this ability lives within you? The mirror test. How do you recognize the gift within yourself? Ask, do people often tell you that you are too sensitive? Do you feel drained in crowds? Do you notice lies before they are spoken? Do others confess secrets to you without knowing why? These are not accidents. These are signals. They reveal that your perception is tuned to frequencies most ignore. But here lies the deeper test. Do you find yourself lost in others' feelings, unsure of where you end and they begin? Do you struggle with boundaries, constantly carrying more than your share? Do you withdraw from others because the weight is too heavy? If yes, Jung would say, you carry the dangerous gift. Recognizing it is the first step. Denying it only increases the suffering. Jung wrote, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your perception, unclaimed, becomes your fate. Claimed, it becomes your path. But claiming it is not easy, because the world has ways of rejecting those who see too much. The scapegoat Jung noticed a painful pattern. Those who perceive unconscious truths often become scapegoats. Why? Because when you reflect someone's hidden pain back to them, they do not thank you. They attack you. The friend whose sadness you name calls you negative. The colleague whose dishonesty you sense calls you paranoid. The family member whose wounds you expose calls you ungrateful. To see the shadow is to become the enemy of the unconscious. This is why so many gifted perceivers feel rejected. It is not because they are wrong, but because they are too right. The question then becomes, how do you carry this gift without becoming a perpetual scapegoat? The answer is in integration. If this resonates with you so far, pause for a moment. Subscribe and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose life you could shift by offering them this mirror. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the price of living without integration and why Jung insisted it was a matter of life and death. Collapse. Without integration, Jung warned that if the gift is not integrated, it devours the host. Think of fire. In a fireplace, it warms the home. But without boundaries, fire consumes everything. Your perception is fire. Without discipline, it burns you from the inside out. Unintegrated perceivers often fall into depression because they cannot distinguish their own pain from that of the world. They fall into addiction because substances numb the unbearable flood of feelings. They fall into bitterness because they are constantly misunderstood. Jung called this identification with the unconscious. Instead of observing what they perceive, they become it. They drown in collective pain. The tragedy? Many of the greatest seers, artists, prophets, healers, collapsed under the very weight of their vision. History is full of them. The danger is real. But Jung also showed the way out. Integration, to hold your gift without being consumed by it, to carry vision without drowning in the storm. So how do you integrate? The journey begins by learning the difference between perception and identity. The separation integration begins with one truth. You are not what you perceive. When you feel someone else's sadness, pause. Ask, is this mine or theirs? When anger rises in your chest, ask, is this my anger or the echo of another's? This separation is vital because once you learn to notice what belongs to you, you reclaim your center. You stop being a sponge and you start being a mirror. Jung wrote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You are not a dumping ground for the unconscious. You are a witness, a carrier of light into shadow. Meditation, journaling, even simply speaking aloud what you feel. These practices create separation. They remind you, I am the sky, not the storm. I am the witness, not the wound. Integration begins the moment you reclaim this distance. But integration does not stop there. Next, you must learn the language of the shadow itself. Speaking with shadows. To integrate the gift, you must learn to dialogue with what you perceive. When you sense someone's hidden anger, instead of absorbing it, silently name it. This is anger. When you feel the grief of another, whisper within, this is sorrow, moving through me but not mine to keep. By naming shadows, you rob them of their power. Jung often used active imagination, inviting the unconscious to speak, to personify itself, to reveal its message. This is not about fighting shadows, but listening to them without being swallowed. The perceiver becomes a translator between worlds, carrying the message of the unconscious into the light of consciousness. And here lies the transformation. What once drowned you now speaks through you. What once consumed you now empowers you. But even as you integrate, the world will still resist. How then do you live among others without losing yourself? Walking among the blind. To carry vision in a world that refuses to see is one of life's greatest burdens. You will be misunderstood. You will be doubted. You will be accused of being too much. And still you must walk. Integration is not about convincing the world. It is about standing rooted in yourself even when the world rejects you. The blind may mock the one who speaks of colors, yet colors remain real. So too with perception. Your task is not to argue but to embody, to live with integrity so that your presence, not your words, becomes the proof. This requires humility, to know when to speak and when to remain silent, to discern when sharing vision helps and when it only creates resistance. This balance between silence and speech, between vision and humility, is what allows the perceiver to live in society without being destroyed by it. But what if society is not only blind, but hostile? Jung warned, the perceiver must learn protection or risk annihilation. The armor of the seer. Gifted perception requires boundaries. Think of yourself as both open and armored. Open enough to perceive, armored enough to withstand. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They let in what nourishes and block what poisons. Without them, you drown. With them, you thrive. This means learning to say no, to limit time with people who drain you, to build rituals that cleanse you after absorbing too much. It means choosing solitude when needed and community with those who understand. Modern psychology echoes Jung here. Empaths and intuitives need grounding practices. Breathwork, movement, nature. These are not luxuries. They are survival tools. Boundaries are love turned inward. They are how you protect the vessel so the light within you can shine. But the greatest danger is not only others. It is the ego itself. And this is where Jung gave his deepest warning. Ego's trap. The ego loves to feel special. When you carry rare perception, ego whispers, you are chosen, you are superior, you are above the rest. This is the most dangerous trap of all, because the moment you identify as superior, you fall into inflation. The archetype of the prophet, the guru, the savior who believes themselves beyond human. Jung wrote extensively on this danger. He called it identification with the archetype. It is when the perceiver stops being human and starts believing they are godlike. History is full of seers destroyed not by rejection, but by egoic inflation. The truth is humbling. Your gift does not make you superior. It makes you responsible. It is not a crown. It is a burden, a tool, a discipline. If this message resonates, make sure you subscribe and support this channel. It allows us to keep creating content for seekers like you who want more than surface-level noise. So what does true integration look like? Let's explore the final steps. The integrated seer. The integrated seer is not loud. They are not desperate to be recognized. They walk quietly, rooted, centered. They know what they see, but they do not force it on others. They carry their perception like a lantern, offering light to those ready to see, but never chasing those who prefer the dark. The integrated seer practices humility and discernment. They are not drained by others' pain because they know what is theirs to carry and what is not. This is Jung's vision, the rare individual who takes the dangerous gift and turns it into a life of wisdom, a life where vision serves love, not ego. Integration is not dramatic. It is steady, grounded, patient. It is not about escape, but embodiment. Not about superiority, but service. And this brings us to the climax. How you can walk this path yourself, beginning today. 10 practices for integration. To integrate the dangerous gift, here are 10 practices you can apply starting today. 1. Daily reflection. Write down what you feel. Ask, is this mine or someone else's? This builds separation. 2. Nature immersion. Spend time in forests, by water, under the sky. Nature cleanses the psychic sponge. 3rd embodiment, move your body. Dance, run, stretch. It grounds perception into flesh. 4. Breath awareness. Slow, deep breathing calms emotional flooding. 5. Boundaries. Learn to say no. Protect your energy as sacred. 6. Shadow dialogue. Journal or meditate with the feelings you absorb. Ask them what they want. 7. Selective community. Spend time only with those who uplift, not drain. 8. Silence. Practice stillness daily. Silence sharpens discernment. 9. Creative expression. Channel perception into art, music, writing. Transform burden into beauty. 10. Humility. Remember, this gift is not superiority. It is service. Each of these practices is not theory. They are lifelines. They ensure your gift does not destroy you, but elevates you. And so we arrive at the final chapter. The reason Jung called this discovery dangerous, and why it may be the most important truth you'll ever hear. The final warning and the final gift. Carl Jung's most dangerous discovery was this, that some of us see too much, that perception without integration destroys, that the world will reject you for it, that ego will seduce you through it, and yet, it is also the very thing that can heal you. It is the path to becoming fully alive, fully awake, fully human. Jung did not call it dangerous to frighten you. He called it dangerous to warn you, because those who ignore it suffer, and those who embrace it transform. The choice is yours, to drown in the unconscious, or to walk as a conscious being in a world asleep. If you carry this gift, you are not alone. Others walk this path too. And if you integrate it, protect it, honor it, your life will not only find peace, it will become a beacon for others still lost in the storm. Remember Jung's words. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. Awaken. Carry your gift wisely and let it serve love. If this journey spoke to you, subscribe, share, and join this community. Together we can create a space for those who see too much